This is not a day to dance in the streets and celebrate. This is a sad moment, and I do believe that Eric Adams has the right to defend himself. I'm glad he's out there talking about that. My overriding concern is how are we going to help all communities, communities of color, the children of this city, how we're going to meet the needs of the people who are suffering in the streets. Can somebody do that work while building a defense? And that's going to be a very difficult challenge, I think.
Well, not even that, Scott, but even those that are still in charge of stuff, like how do they even know the direction of then how to run the local government and even how to execute a vision or their jobs?
Respectfully, I think this is going to be very tough. You have a lot of people in City Hall who are under federal investigation. Phones have been seized. It's very hard to run a government under this kind of scrutiny. And the indictment has laid out some very serious charges. The mayor has to obviously defend himself, and he must. But I also think that we have to start thinking about how we're going to move this government. We talk about, this is the center of the universe. New York City is the center of commerce. New York City is really leads the country in so many different ways. We need a government that is laser focused to keep the city afloat. And then we have people, the underbelly of the city. We have people suffering, living in the streets. People are homeless. Crime is up. Housing's not getting built. When I was exploring running for mayor back in January, it really wasn't about these investigations. It was about the city not doing what it needed to do governmentally to meet the needs of our people. That now becomes exasperated because we have nobody who can be laser focused on delivering for the people of the city and for the business community and for our children, our babies, who we are charged with the responsibility of raising as a village.
Scott, so you would have served, if you were still comptroller, you would have served on this inability committee. That's a job that will fall to Brad Lander, who is also running for mayor. Tell me what, you know a lot about the city charter. What do you know about how this works? The mayor, of course, gets to appoint somebody who will be on his behalf. Do you think that we'll see the mayor resign? And if not, do you think there'll be a push for him to step down either from the governor or from this inability committee?
Well, first of all, this inability committee was probably put together not thinking that it would be possibly used for this situation. I don't think this committee will ever convene. I think this will be resolved much earlier than that. I do think the mayor is going to have to make some decisions as to whether he can govern, and that'll become apparent in the next 48 hours or 72 hours, and we'll go from there. But I don't think that we're going to get to, a disability trial. I just don't think that's in the best interest of the city.
Just to be clear, Scott, you think Mayor Adams should resign immediately?
I think that with a indictment and possibly more coming, I think it's very hard for him to govern. I am not making a judgment on innocence or guilt, but I am making a judgment as to what's the best for the city. Mayor has to focus on the mayor, but government, elected officials have to focus on the city at large. And I think it's going to be very difficult. Look, I was controller for 8 years. I audited every city agency. I saw the best and the brightest in city government. It's a tough job to be mayor. And, I think that, for a couple of years, we sort of let the mayor and his staff, run amok without any accountability. If I was there, and it's always a big what if, but I remember when I did battle with Bill de Blasio, it was every day, 365 days a year. And it started almost at the beginning because mayors need a counterweight. I'm not sure that existed over the last couple of years. And maybe it's a lesson to everybody is accountable somewhat because these contracts were flowing. This was going on. And sometimes you just got to blow the whistle and say enough is enough before federal investigators get involved.